In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn store-bought cupcakes into tasty brunch cocktail cupcakes. Hi there, my name is Carly and welcome to my channel, Adventures in Yum. Whether you're safely going to brunch for the first time in over a year, or you're surprising your mom with a tasty treat for Mother's Day, these cupcakes are easy peasy and sure to please. The flavors, Mimosa and Margarita. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. First, we're making the Mimosa Cupcakes. We're starting by removing the sprinkles from the frosting and scraping them into a small bowl. Then, we're carefully removing the frosting from the cupcakes and placing that in a separate bowl. Make sure to keep any frosting that gets cake pieces in it away from the rest of the frosting because we don't want those cake pieces inside of the frosting when we repipe it onto the cupcakes. Next, we're mixing up a quick mimosa mixture that is 1 part champagne and 1 part orange juice. Here I used a 1/4 cup or 2 ounces of champagne and a 1/4 cup or 2 ounces of orange juice. Actually, full disclosure, I had no orange juice, so I just juiced some of my cuties, which are very similar in taste. Next, we're taking a fork to poke some holes in the cupcakes. Make sure that you do not make too many holes because the cupcake could potentially fall apart. On the opposite side, make sure that you do not make too few holes because you want to make sure that the cocktail flavor is spread throughout the cupcakes. Now we're spooning some of the mimosa mixture onto the cupcakes. I typically add 1 to 2 teaspoons and then check the look of the cupcake. If it looks too moist, stop here. If it still looks a tad dry, add another spoon or 2 of the cocktail and check again. Just make sure that you do not add too much because I've done it before and they practically disintegrate. They taste amazing, don't get me wrong, but it's not as enjoyable when it completely falls apart on you. Pro tip, if you happen to have an extra cupcake, use that as your tester to figure out how much to add to the rest of the cupcakes. The tops of these cupcakes were actually pretty firm and I had a little trouble getting the cocktail to soak in. If you have the same issue, I would recommend cutting off the top center of the cupcake. That way, the inside of the cupcake will be more exposed and the cocktail will soak in better. As long as you don't cut all the way to the outside of the cupcake, the frosting will completely cover the top. Also, the amount of mimosa I mixed up was way more than I needed for 3 cupcakes, but that just means that the cupcakes got some and I got some too. Once that's done, we're adding the buttercream into a piping bag with a Wilton 1M piping tip. Of course, you can use a different tip, but this is my go-to for simple projects. Pipe a rosette on top by starting in the middle and then making a tight spiral on top of the cupcake. There isn't enough buttercream to do it for every cupcake, but you can also pipe a nice multi-layered dollop on top of 1 or 2 cupcakes as well. Next, we're sprinkling on some white sparkling sugar sprinkles, and then using a food brush to tap on some orange edible glitter for a simple but gorgeous decoration. Before we make the Margarita Cupcakes, make sure to hit that like button and click subscribe for more yummy videos. We're starting the exact same way as the Mimosa Cupcakes by removing the sprinkles from the frosting, and then we're carefully removing the frosting from the cupcakes and placing it in a separate bowl. Next, we're using a paring knife to cut out the centers of the cupcakes. Make sure that you do not cut all the way to the bottom of the cupcake. Next, we're mixing up a quick liquor mixture that is 1 part tequila and 1 part triple sec. Here I used 1 ounce of each. Then we're taking a fork and poking some holes in the cupcake. Just like with the Mimosa Cupcakes, make sure that you do not make too many or too few holes. We're spooning some of the liquor mixture onto the cupcakes. Of course, start with 1 to 2 teaspoons and then check the look of the cupcake. If it looks too moist, stop here. If it still looks a tad dry, add another spoon or 2 and check again. For the lime component, you could easily add lime juice while making your liquor mixture and call it a day. Or you can add a lime curd filling. Lime curd is super easy and incredibly tasty. It's the exact same way that I make my lemon curd. You just simply swap the lemon zest and juice for lime zest and juice. Check out the link to that video in the description below. We're adding some of the lime curd to a piping bag and piping it into the center of the cupcakes. While you can spoon the filling into the center, using a piping bag is cleaner, easier, and faster. Then add a little sprinkle of salt. I always do this with any margarita dessert that I make. Once that's done, we're piping buttercream rosettes onto the tops of the cupcakes using a piping bag fitted with a Wilton 1M piping tip. Then we're adding some white sparkling sugar sprinkles and green sugar sprinkles. I tried doing some patterns with the sprinkles, kind of like an ombre effect, but my favorite ended up being a simple mixture of the 2 sprinkles added to the top of the cupcake. And here's the cross section of a Margarita cupcake. Look at that fabulous lime curd in the center. You can also check out how I made these cupcakes on my food blog, adventuresandyum.net. The link is in the description below. If you're interested in checking out some of the products I used in this video, please make sure to check out the video description below for their Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time for another yummy adventure.